Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us this morning for this Play a Vital Role in Your Community Through Justice-Related Careers info session. My name is Joanna Amaro, and I'm one of the Associate Deans in the Faculty of Social and Community Services, and I'm so excited to welcome you here today to this virtual open house where you can learn about some of our incredible programs in the Justice Cluster. So you're going to be spending some time learning from each of the program coordinators who support these programs. We also have Siobhan Carbonell here today, who's from the admissions office, who can answer all of your admissions related questions. So we really encourage you to answer or ask as many questions as you have, and we'll do our very best to answer them. I'm going to start today's session by sharing a land acknowledgement. I'm going to share Humber's land acknowledgement, as that is the place that brings us together today. But I encourage you to reflect on your connection to the land and where it is that you're joining us from this morning. Humber College is located within the traditional and treaty lands of the Mississaugas of the Credit. Known as Etobicoke, the place of the Black Elders in the Michi-Sauga language, the region is uniquely situated along the Humber River watershed, which historically provided an integral connection for Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, and Wendat peoples between the Ontario Lakeshore and the Lake Simcoe, Georgian Bay regions. Now home to numerous nations, Etobicoke continues to provide a vital source of interconnection for all. And with that, I'm just going to pass it over to Jessica, who's going to move us into the next part of our session.
Excellent. Thanks, Joanna. My name is Jessica Tattersall, and I'm one of the academic program managers in the Faculty of Social Community Services, and I'm going to be moderating a panel discussion today. So you'll see a couple programs here, and I'll let each of the program coordinators introduce themselves as we go to kick off the panel. And we're going to start with Daniel first.
Hi, everyone. My name is Daniel Schwartz, and I am the program coordinator for the Protection, Security, and Investigation Program, PSI.
Excellent. Next, I'm going to ask Erin to introduce herself.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Erin Denoda, and I'm the program coordinator for the Police Foundations Program, PFP. Welcome.
And Lynn?
Morning, everyone. Thanks so much for coming. I'm Lynn Baczynski. I'm the program coordinator for Community and Justice Services. Nice to see you today. Well, I don't see you, but nice that you're here.
Excellent. And Emma?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Emma Smith, and I'm the program coordinator in the Bachelor of Social Science Criminal Justice degree. And thanks for joining us today.
And last but certainly not least, Debbie.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm going to echo what everyone else said. Welcome and thank you for joining us. I'm Debbie Harris, and I am the program coordinator of the Forensic Identification Program.
Great. And to start with our first question, Daniel, can you tell us a little bit about your program and who would be a good fit and how it may differ from some of the other programs in this cluster?
Sure. Thanks, Jessica. Hi again, everyone. So my name is Daniel Schwartz again, and I'm the program coordinator for the Protection, Security, and Investigation Program. I've been the program coordinator since 2014, and prior to that, I spent about 11 years with government as a criminal intelligence analyst. Our program is a 2-year diploma program, and really we focus on 3 broad areas. One is traditional law enforcement. So if you're interested in becoming a police officer or a border services officer with CBSA, or in going into corrections, that's areas of traditional law enforcement, and we focus on that. We also focus very heavily, and one of the things that really differentiates our program is that we focus heavily on private and corporate security. So this includes everything from security guarding to security management, doing private investigations, doing loss prevention or asset protection, doing fraud investigations, and doing risk assessments. And then we also, the third area that we focus on is something that's also unique, which is being a civilian, but within the traditional law enforcement sector. So more and more police agencies and other government agencies in the traditional sector are hiring civilians rather than like going through becoming a police officer. So that's the realm that I actually came from, being a criminal intelligence analyst as a civilian. So we focus on crime analysis, intelligence analysis, doing surveillance as a civilian, and also in the realm of cybersecurity. Another way to look at the division for us in terms of our focus is on, you can sort of like half of our courses are focused on frontline type of field work, and the other half are focused more on analytical type of desk work. So that's a little bit about our program.
Oh, that's great. Next, I'm going to ask Erin to do the same kind of overview of your program and how it may differ from some of the other programs here.
Welcome everyone. My name is Erin Denoda. I'm the program coordinator for the Police Foundations program, and I've been in this role since 2019. I've been with the Police Foundations program since 2013, and prior to that, I had about close to 10 years experience working in the criminal justice industry. So PFP, it's a 2-year diploma program like the other programs that you're going to learn about today. And our program is unique because it provides a foundational platform for students or folks who are interested in not just only law enforcement, but perhaps other avenues of criminal justice. So typically a lot of our students who come into the program are looking to pursue careers in policing. So be that with the RCMP, the OPP, or local regional police services. However, some of our students do recognize that, there are other aspects of criminal justice that they become interested in. So be it youth justice, doing community service work, going to corrections, doing by law enforcement, or even going into higher studies in order to upgrade themselves and their academic qualifications. We've also had some students who have gone on to do social work and gone on to pursue law. So the PFP program at Humber provides a really good platform for students to focus on what criminal justice provides and how to be able to provide back to your communities to help not just provide service to them, but to be able to solve some of the issues that folks deal with that would put them in conflict with the law. One of the unique things about the PFP program is that we do have a partnership with the Toronto Police Services Rovers program. So if you're interested in getting community work while you're at Humber, you can get recruited into the Rovers program. And it's a fantastic opportunity where you learn community skills, leadership skills. You're invested by the police chief himself every year. And it's a fantastic opportunity to be part of. We also we actually encourage a lot of our students to become involved in other activities outside of Humber. So there's a lot of community related projects you can be part of, working with your professors on research projects. So it's an exciting and fascinating opportunity to be part of PFP at Humber. Thank you.
Thanks, Erin. Next, I'll ask Lynn to answer that question and tell us a bit about this Community and Justice Services program.
Hi again, everyone. Once more, Lynn Baczynski. Community and Justice Services is where we're going to focus right now. I've been with the program since 2010 and with Humber that long as well, and as a program coordinator for over 6 years. Prior to that, I worked for over 20 years in the field of what's called forensic psychology, where I did mostly mental health assessments that are ordered by the courts. And you'll see that in our program, most of our faculty have field experience that we bring into the classroom to help sort of liven the theory that we talk about, because our program is both obviously about about theory, because that's what school is often about, but also about the applied components of how to build those skills and get ready for doing this kind of work. So it's a very unique 2-year diploma. And it really has what we say sort of 1 foot in human services and 1 foot in the justice system. We offer a very broad foundational base, and that helps you to learn and explore community, social service, social justice, community justice, all from a social justice lens. You'll learn to critique why and how people become involved in the justice system, how a person's economic status, their personal challenges, sometimes results in involvement in crime or what we focus on is the perception of criminal involvement due to systemic discrimination and how people can make assumptions about certain groups or certain individuals based on their biases and their discriminatory actions. So understanding that a person's involvement in the justice system can often and does often come from their own trauma. And that results in them being both an offender and a victim, and not just one or the other. And often the way society frames things is that you're either an offender or a victim / survivor, when in fact they're often the same person. The program will then promote and practice that anti-racism, anti-oppression, and inclusion. It helps students to understand how our privileges or our lack of privilege can influence the way that others treat us, and how the larger systems can manage or mismanage many issues. So we learn about that theory, we explore what the research tells us, we build those practical skills that can be applied to the work, as I said previously. So whether that be in, again, that larger community social service field, or within traditional corrections or social justice initiatives, we bring all of that into one, which is that broader base. And as part of our program, students are required to do 400 hours of what we call field placement, also known as work integrated learning. And that's over 2 semesters, generally the 3rd and 4th semester, which is their last year of the program. And those can happen again in traditional justice settings, in correctional settings, in social or community initiatives, and so forth. You can be in a residence or a closed justice setting, halfway houses, maybe work with reintegration programs, youth work or adult work. You can do counseling support within mental health and addiction programs, immigration services. It's a very broad and possible option in regards to those work integrated learning, those 400 hours of placement. Great opportunity to learn what you want to do, but it's also a great opportunity to learn maybe what you don't want to do, and that can be very valuable experience. And the other piece that's different for our program from many others is that we offer our 4th semester ready to graduate students what are called mock interviews, where agencies within the community will come in and interview our 4th semester students. We've been doing that remotely for the last little while, of course, and it works out extremely well. Students get an opportunity to talk about their skills, to practice some of what they've learned, and develop those connections that are so important within the field. Thanks, folks.
Thanks, Lynn. Next, I'm going to ask Emma to join us, tell us about your program, who may be a good fit, and how that could differ from some of the other programs here today.
Thank you, Jessica. Good morning, everyone. Once again, my name is Emma Smith, and I am a professor and program coordinator in the Bachelor of Social Science Criminal Justice degree. I have been a faculty member since 2018 and in the role of the program coordinator since 2019. And I'm also a researcher, and I look at the intersections of culture, crime, and consumerism more broadly. So that's a little bit about me, but to share about our program, we are a 4-year degree program, an honors degree, offered within an applied setting. And I would use the word applied as one way to really define what our program is about. We offer opportunities for students to actively engage in the learning material that they've spent time in the classroom absorbing and engaging with, and we encourage them to apply that into various settings, whether it be in our sim lab or in their work placement, field placement, similar to the CJS program. So that's a very defining piece of our program compared to others outside of Humber, other criminal justice degrees. We have a placement program that's really exciting for students to go out and build connections, network, and really see and then sort of try on what would be an appropriate career for their interests. The other word I would use to describe our program is interdisciplinary, where we offer a multi-layered learning experience for students, where you're coming in and you're learning about sociology, criminology, psychology, social policy, themes related to marginalization, equity, diversity, and inclusion, gender studies. And we really layer all these pieces within our coursework, which is really exciting for us as instructors, as faculty, to be able to share our own research in those areas and to bring those to the classroom. So that all works towards and builds towards your fourth year, where you complete a fourth year thesis project, which is really an exciting opportunity for you to share sort of a culmination of all of your knowledge and your experience that you've gained in the program, and put that towards developing a larger research project with supervision from faculty. So that's a little bit about the Bachelor of Social Science Criminal Justice program, and I just want to sort of reiterate that it is a degree program and it's equivalent to any other degree that you would receive from a university institution, and that's also a common question that we receive. So I look forward to answering any other questions today. Thank you.
Thanks, Emma. Next is Debbie.
Hi, good morning again, everybody. Debbie Harris from the Forensic Identification Graduate Program. I'm really excited to talk a little bit about the program as it is a graduate program. It is a one-year program. A little bit of background about myself and the other instructors from within this program. We are all industry experts in our field, which means that every one of us at some point in our career has been declared an expert in court in areas that you are going to be instructed in. So right from day one, it is a hands-on physical lab experience where you're going to be applying the knowledge that you learn each and every day and integrate that into the learning experiences that you're going to be getting. So that's one of the big differences between our program and some of the undergrads or masters that the students that come into our program. And that's one of the main reasons why they come into this program is right from day one, you are getting that one-year lab experience that when you're leaving school, a lot of job opportunities that do come up ask for that at least 1 year of lab experience. So and a lot of the students that come into this program have lacked that experience to begin with. And some of the labs that we have a state-of-the-art crime scene studio lab, which was built specifically for this program, along with some of the other programs within what we call the annex building. And that's where you get a hands-on approach to crime scene management, fingerprinting, physical matching. We put you through different types of live scenarios that you then have to process. And at the end of it, in the end of term 2, you also get put through, we have a mock courtroom, and you get put right through the courtroom in a process where you have to go on the stand as an expert witness, where all of the knowledge that you've received throughout the year is then applied as you're on the witness stand as an expert in the field of forensics that you're going into. So some of the labs that we have, and I'll just run through a few of them right now and then continue in my next part of the session, we have excavation of human remains. So we have two sites at Humber College where we have where we are able to apply and give you live scenario training in relation to excavation of human remains, scattered remains. We collaborate with the Health Sciences Bioscience Lab where we have some human donors. We bring you up there to learn a little bit about anatomy because some of you will go into a field where you will have to go to postmortems. And we also teach you how to rehydrate and fingerprint humans that are deceased. And on top of that, we have state-of-the-art equipment that's better than most industries have at this point in our lab. And you get all of the applied sciences behind all of the equipment that you're going to be utilizing through all of your different courses, like your 3D mapping, your document examination, your fingerprinting, physical matching. So it's a really exciting one-year program. It's 12 courses. It is quite intense, but again, it's a graduate program. You've already got your undergrads or your masters, and you're ready to move forward into the different types of fields of forensics, which I'm sure we can discuss a little later on when it's my turn again. But thank you, and we'll go back to Jessica.
Thanks, Debbie. That's great. So we're going to move on to our third question. And before we start that, I just wanted to let everyone know there is a Q&A option available. So please feel free to post your questions as we're going through, and we can answer them as we go or at the end. Okay, so question number 3, I'll start with Daniel again. Can you tell us a little bit about how our Humber's Protection Security Investigations program compares to other colleges or university programs like it?
Sure. Hi again, everyone. So the big difference really with Humber's PSI program compared to other colleges' PSI programs is that their programs tend to focus more on just traditional law enforcement positions. So as I was talking about a little bit earlier, traditional law enforcement positions are things like policing, corrections, and border security. And that's what their programs focus more on. We at Humber, we cover those areas for sure. So if you're interested in going into policing, if you're interested in becoming a border services officer with CBSA, if you're interested in corrections, we've definitely got you covered for those kinds of areas. But what's really unique about our program is that we also explore those 2 other areas that I was talking about. One is in the private security and corporate security realm, and the other one is being in the civilian realm, but or in the law enforcement realm, but as a civilian. So doing things like crime analysis and intelligence analysis and other kinds of analytical types of work. The biggest area of growth in the security field is really in the private sector. This is where things are really booming. And what's interesting is that when you're working in the private sector, whether it's in the sort of corporate world or just with security companies that are like large global security companies, you're often working hand in hand with traditional law enforcement. So you might be working with police officers, you might be working with border security. So that's an interesting aspect that I think a lot of people don't realize. And then there's this whole world of private security and investigations that students really, their eyes are open to these kinds of worlds when they come into the program. Something that a lot of people just in the general public don't realize what's going on. But this really is the biggest area of growth, and that's definitely our focus. I'll give you one sort of concrete example. Many of our students lately have been going into the area of private investigations. So in private investigations, you could be doing a couple of different types of work. You could be doing surveillance. For example, you could be doing surveillance on an insurance fraud case. But you could also be working in a more analytical kind of capacity doing open source intelligence. And one of the unique courses that we have in our program is an open source intelligence course, which is where you're in a computer lab and you're looking at open source information on social media, for example, and you're sort of combing through that information and gathering evidence. And we have a student right now, or rather a student who's going to be graduating, who's already working in this field and working on a very large file that involves organized crime, involves police, but is working in the private sector. And so that's, I think, the focus on the private sector, the focus on being a civilian within law enforcement, those are the areas that really distinguish the PSI program at Humber College.
Thanks, Daniel. That's great. Next, I'm going to ask Erin to share the same information about the Police Foundations program.
Yeah. So a little bit similar to what Daniel was saying, a lot of Police Foundation programs in other colleges, they also focus on traditional policing mechanisms, whereas here at Humber, we try to provide you more of a holistic approach to what policing is all about. So we offer the education from 4 different streams, which looks at police sciences, the law, sociology, as well as fitness and wellness. So a lot of our courses not only are just preparing you for a career in policing, but it's also exposing you to other aspects of providing community service to various jurisdictions across the country. If you're taking courses in, let's say, mental health and addictions, or we have a course in equity and accountability, our fitness stream not only just focuses on the physical component, but also on the mental health component and how to address stress, not just for yourself, but for the people that you'll be working with. We also have our courses in investigations and police powers that use our brand new our state-of-the-art simulation lab, where you're looking at scenarios and trying to figure out how to address them based on the concepts that you learn. Our mock court prepares you in terms of how to advocate and testify and be in a courtroom environment. And with the PFP program here at Humber, because we're part of the Faculty of Social and Community Services, our students get to take part in the interprofessional education program, where they team up with students from other programs and work on a case to figure out how to address some of the issues that arise in the case that put the individuals in conflict with the law. So just like some of my colleagues stated earlier, we don't just offer the theory component, we also give you an opportunity to actually apply some of these concepts that you'll be learning. A lot of times with the PFP program here at Humber, what else makes us unique is the fact that we offer you an opportunity to take it part-time. So we recognize that, you know, as students' life kind of comes into our education, and so if full-time studies is not an option for you, or you need to change that, you do have the opportunity to take on part-time studies and complete your diploma through the part-time option as well. Also, with our diploma program, you have the opportunity to go into higher studies. So we have 3 pathways to the Justice Studies degree program, the Community Development degree program, as well as the Mental Health and Addictions degree program. And also, if you decide that, you know, upon graduation, you want to go into, you know, forensics program, just like Debbie Harris talked about, you have that pathway as well. So we really try to make this a very rich foundation in terms of how you're going to engage in your future careers. A lot of our faculty, like some of my colleagues have stated, they're not just police officers, but they're from other aspects of criminal justice as well. So we have a lot of folks who have pursued law, who are in social work, who are doing youth justice type of work, that they come in and they work with you and get you prepared for what the industry entails. And a lot of times we take in a lot of real life case studies that you'll be working on. So for example, in the course that you'll take on Youth in Conflict with Law, you spend the entire semester working on 2 major case studies, learning how to work with young people, some of the things that you need to focus on when you're addressing their concerns before the court, and how do you work in terms of providing them the rehabilitation that they need so that they're not pursuing a path of crime. So these are some of the avenues that we provide with PFP. We really make it very current in terms of what's happening today, especially with our new equity and mental health course. And we also try to get you to understand that, you know, it's not just about how you conduct yourself, but how you're going to model behavior and advocate for others who unfortunately may not be in the position to do so. Thank you.
Thank you, Erin. That's great. And next up is Lynn from Community and Justice Services.
Hi, folks. Sorry, I was having a little challenge there with the mic. So some of the other Community and Justice Services diploma programs in the province have a more traditional approach to community and justice. They have more of a what we call a correctional focus, and less focus on the social justice and restorative approach to addressing crime and addressing harmful behaviors. So we focus that social justice lens in allowing students to learn more about how people become involved in crime, about what impacts a person's behavior, about what impacts a person's choices that can lead them in that direction, but also how larger systems can discriminate against individuals that may result in criminal involvement, not necessarily because of their actions, but because of other people's perceptions of their actions. So again, that systemic discrimination that we were talking about can lead to some very serious disadvantages for certain groups and communities within our society. And so we look at those inequities that happen, how that impacts their personal life, their family life, their community life, how they function. And then again, what are some of those traumatic experiences that they bring to the table that further layers on some of those injustices that they experience? Often students have sort of an enlightened experience in recognizing that what we call justice is not always justice, that there are injustices within a justice system, and our program is very good at unlayering some of those and sort of uncomplicating some of those issues to allow us to dig deeper into those concepts, and recognizing just what is that justice system, what makes that so complicated for some of us and less complicated for others. So students learn how to advocate for social justice initiatives, what's important, what they can stand behind and work with, as opposed to just managing sort of the traditional approach of what's called retributive justice, or the more traditional sort of punishment approach to how to manage criminal behavior. Research shows us that punishment does not, in fact, deter crime. So why not try to change that system in some way? And yeah, you won't be necessarily in a position to change massive systems, but every little piece is important in order to start to address some of those injustices, so that we will look at, you know, how does mental health and addictions impact people's behavior? What causes it? What contributes to it? And then what's the outcome of it? And it's a bit of a vicious circle, as many of us know. How does our marginalization in those groups, if we're a racialized person, how does that impact the way the system manages us, treats us? How is that impacting our behavior as well? And so we look at that from a very different perspective than many of the more traditional community and justice services programs around us. And so I think that valuable difference is what we bring to the table, as well as what I spoke about earlier around the differences in our work integrated learning opportunities, in our mock interview opportunities as we graduate and go out into the field. And as Erin has already mentioned, we too have those pathways if you wish to go on to further education into a criminal justice degree or social work degree, even a legal component. Our students go into many different categories. And I think that's what makes us a little bit different, or often very different. Thanks, folks.
That's great. Thank you, Lynn. Next up is Emma.
Thank you, Jess. Yes, our program has several differentiating factors compared to other university criminal justice programs, and I'll just share a few with you today. One of them being the Pathway program, as my colleagues have already mentioned, where we invite students from the PSI programs, PFP programs, and CJS programs to apply and to join us in fourth or fifth semester of our program. And that's a really exciting opportunity for you to continue your studies and to engage with other faculty and to engage in other discussions related to the criminal justice sector. And that's often very popular amongst students. So our pathway option is one differentiating factor. Our class sizes are really something we're very proud of that we keep smaller class sizes for students to really engage in these important and productive discussions with faculty. So unlike other institutions where you may be sitting in a large lecture hall with 200 plus other students for a course, in ours, we keep the class size is around 60 students. And that allows an opportunity for you to really get to know your professors. Your professors are also able in turn to get to know you. And that really fosters a really productive learning environment where it's not us lecturing at you, but we're engaging in really key discussions related to our sector. So that's another differentiating piece. Our placement, which I've already chatted about earlier, which is very unique to our degree program and different from other degree programs at other institutions. This placement work experience idea really allows you an opportunity to sort of test drive careers in a sense, and to get out into the field and network and build connections. And in many times, those connections really actually allow students to secure employment upon the completion of the degree, which is super exciting for our graduates. And the interdisciplinary piece that I also touched on, where you're not just coming in and learning only about criminology in its very sort of strict sense of the term. We're really offering a layered interdisciplinary approach to looking at larger themes of inequality, marginalization, social policy, gender studies, looking at the law, and that layered education allows you to go out into the field and really sort of navigate success in multiple different careers. And we see that with students going on, whether it's to graduate school or law school, or they're going on to policing, probation, CBSA services, or also working within the community in a variety of different functions. So you can come out of the program a very well-rounded criminal justice expert that you can offer your skills to all different areas, which is very exciting and we're very proud of.
Thank you, Emma. And last but not least, again, is Debbie.
Thanks, Jess. So I'm excited about this part of our program because I get to tell you about why we're different than other programs. So, you know, a lot of the programs in your undergrad and in masters are from a theoretical science-based perspective, where in our program, everything is hands-on. So I'm going to echo a little bit about what you just heard from Emma. Our class sizes are really small. So we keep our class sizes actually at 60, but those are divided with our labs into 2 separate courses, which you can choose which one of the 2 times you want. So our class sizes themselves are actually 30 students per class for our labs. And that gives us an opportunity, again, to be hands-on with you so that you get that one-on-one instruction while you're doing all of your labs. And we also have the opportunity where we hire we call them technologists or TAs, as some of you may know, that also assist us in the classrooms as well. So you not only have your instructor, but you also have a TA in there that's also helping us run our labs so that you get as much lab time as you possibly can. We also have a great program advisory committee. So we have 12 members who sit twice a year and review our program, and they are experts within their own field. If you take a look at all of our courses, we have program advisory committee members who represent every one of the industry areas that we have in our courses. And they ensure that we're current, that we're operating under all of the changes to legislation as well. And so that keeps us not only connected with the industry, but it allows the industries to actually reach out to us because they know our program. We're established. We've had lots of our students hired into the fields within the program, and it gives us a little bit of a head start when those job opportunities get presented to the forensic identification students first, just because the industry knows how specialized those students are within our classrooms, and they've seen all of the equipment and the training, and as well know most of the instructors because we are all industry experts ourselves. So those are the main things that set us aside from other graduate programs themselves. Along with, again, we also have virtual reality. So we're the first program that's got to start this last year, and this will be the first year that we move forward with immersing you as well in some crime scenes through virtual reality, where there's some simulations that we have set up that you have to then go into as if you are right at a real crime scene itself. So again, we go straight from learning from the applied side of the house to challenge you in court, understanding the ethics behind forensic science as well, and then getting challenged in the courtroom itself. So it's a well-rounded program setting you up to move right into one of those specialized fields that you want to. And that could be anywhere from the civilianized side of policing now, which is the forensic identification side of the house, where most police services now are civilianizing that through the Center of Forensic Science. We've had students go into biology and chemistry and toxicology. Through pathology, we've had students hired as pathology assistants, as the dispatch morgue area within pathology, forensic photography. And the one other thing I just wanted to touch on quickly, because I know we're running out of time, is from the moment you get to the campus in the forensic identification graduate program, you're supplied with all of your equipment. So from day one, you are hands-on. You are given cameras, you are given different types of lenses. You're also given laptops because there's specific programs that law enforcement use that we have special licenses for, so that you will be able to use the current program as well that's established without in the field. All right, Jess, thanks.
I think you're on mute.
You're muted.
Oh man, sorry. I was just saying thank you, and I appreciate your comment on the time. We are coming to the end. So in our last round of questions, we're going to do a speed round in a minute or less. Can you highlight some examples of jobs or programs that your students typically go into? And I'm going to start with Danielle.
Okay, well, this is the part that excites me the most because I love working with students to get them into the field or to get them going on to higher education. So here are some examples of employment positions that our students have gone into. This includes private investigations, doing surveillance and open source intelligence. We've had students become police officers with Peel Regional Police, Toronto Police Service, York Regional Police. We've had students go into CBSA, that's Canada Border Services Agency. We've had students become security systems managers. One example would be with Scotiabank. We've had a student, actually a couple of students, go in with TD Bank doing travel risk assessments for executives who are traveling. We've had students become special constables with Toronto Transit Corporation, TTC, and Toronto Police Service as well. We've had students become asset protection officers with Loblaws and Walmart. We've had students go into risk assessment with Ryerson University and with a couple of different banks. We've had a student become a bylaw officer with the City of Mississauga. And one interesting position that I can tell you about is to become a surveillance officer with Canada's spy agency, the Canadian Security Intelligence Service. This is one that I can't tell you whether or not our students have ever gotten, because I know students have applied, but if they ever did get the position, I wouldn't actually hear about it. And in terms of programs that our students go into, the most popular is most likely our criminal justice degree program. And you're hearing about that program today from Emma. And that's a program where you get advanced standing if you have reached a certain grade point average. So if you get a grade point average of 65 or higher in the PSI program, you get a full 1.5 years of credit going into the criminal justice degree. And students have also gone on to the Guelph Humber Justice Studies program, to forensic psychology at a couple of different universities, and into the crime and intelligence analysis program at Seneca College. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. Next up is Erin.
Great, thank you, Jessica. So I'm just going to echo a little bit about what Daniel said. A lot of our students in PFP, they go on to do careers in policing. So we've had graduates go into the RCMP, OPP, regional police services such as Peel, Toronto, York, Durham, and Halton Police Services. We've had students go on to pursue careers with the GO Transit Police, with the bylaw enforcement services out of Mississauga and Brampton. We've also had students graduate and pursue careers in correction services. So they've been hired at the Roy McMurtry Youth Center, South Detention Center here in Etobicoke, as well as Maplehurst Correctional Complex. We've had students who pursued careers in security. Actually, quite a bit of our graduates have joined some very prestigious security firms where they're now managing and also recruiting students as well. We've also had students go on and pursue higher studies. So they've gone on to pursue the degrees in justice studies as well as community development, or they've gone into the forensic investigation graduate program. We've also had students go and take education in other aspects, such as with Guelph Humber, or they've gone on to the University of Ontario to pursue their criminal justice programs there. We've actually had some graduates go on to pursue careers in law and paralegal services. And one of my graduates that I know went on to his master's at the University of Ottawa in public policy and international relations. And a lot of our grads have gone on to pursue careers in other aspects, like I was saying earlier, in social work, in youth justice. They've done a lot of research work with faculty that have opened doors for them to become involved in the nonprofit and community justice service industry. So for example, one of our grads has gone on to do work with adult males who are overcoming addictions and alcohol concerns, and they're in transitional housing. So he works in terms of providing rehabilitation and support services. So there's a lot of opportunities for PFP grads in terms of education and careers. And a lot of our faculty, we work one-on-one with our students in terms of mentoring them and preparing them for the interview process and the recruitment stage, and just getting ready for the industry. Thank you.
Thanks, Erin. Next up is Lynn, and I know you've already touched on this, but hopefully you can say a few more words.
Yeah, I think what's coming clear is there's a lot of overlap in these different diploma degrees, but I think it's important to know that with those foundations, there are many doors that open for you. And I think that's the bonus of coming to Humber and taking, whether it's a diploma or a degree. So our graduates are very similar in that they can go into, again, that traditional correctional field. We have a number of students just this semester who've been hired as correctional officers. We've had students who've gone into Peel Regional Police Force services, in the Toronto Police Services as well. We have people who graduate and go in to be caseworkers with Toronto Housing, for instance, youth workers that work in residences, John Howard Society, the Elizabeth Fry Society. So again, you can go. Also, we have had students go into CBSA and be, again, or immigration, for instance. So there's a real variety on the community side. They can work in harm reduction, they can work in mental health clinics. So there's a great opportunity for many things. And again, you don't have to make that decision coming in the door. It's what you explore when you're with us as to where you want to go and on your way out, where you see your future going. And many of our students will actually shift away from maybe a more traditional approach to corrections to more of an advocacy role, for instance. So lots of opportunity. Thank you.
Thanks, Lynn. Next up is Emma.
Thank you, Jess. Yes, I share very similar feedback for this question that my colleagues have also offered. And we're really excited when our graduates sort of are moving from away from our program and into the field and have an opportunity to really explore a variety of different career opportunities. And as I touched on before, that interdisciplinary training is really key to that. We have many students who go on to Debbie's forensic identification program, which I completely understand because it sounds fascinating as I sit here and listen to all the elements of that program. And also many students who continue to pursue graduate work or law school, and also going to the field right away and working in policing, bylaw officers, correctional officer, CBSA, and also working in the community with vulnerable populations, helping to support things of mental health, harm reduction, community development, all those pieces. So I know that's a very broad overview, but I'm happy to answer any questions related to our field specifically later in this session or at another time. Thank you.
Thanks, Emma. And now it's Debbie's turn.
All right, I'll do this in 30 seconds because I know we have less time now. Some of the students have gone into roles either in the Center of Forensic Science as a biologist or chemist or toxicology to all of the police services in the GTA. We have students that have been hired as forensic assistants who are now civilian members going to crime scenes. We have students who have been hired through the Office of the Chief Coroner, the Solicitor General, that are working in the pathology side of the house. We also have students going into a lot of private industry labs and other university labs where they've been hired as lab assistants in there, given the experience that they've received in our program. So please reach out to me. My email is on the Forensic Identification Humber website. I can put you in touch with one of our student ambassadors in any field that you're thinking you might want to go into afterwards, and you can hear firsthand from students who have been in the program themselves instead of just yours truly here. All right, have a good day, everybody.
Thank you, Debbie. That was a great lightning round. And to wrap things up, I'm going to send it over to Siobhan to talk about the admissions to these programs. In the meantime, if you have any questions, please feel free to open your Q&A and ask now.
Hello, everyone. My name is Siobhan Carbonneau. I'm the admissions officer for the Faculty of Social and Community Services. So you've heard from our colleagues about police foundations, protection, securities, and investigation, community and justice services, the criminal justice and forensic identification programs. And so now you're asking yourself, how do I apply? So applications are currently available through ontariocolleges.ca. I will put the link in the Q&A section. I'll post it. What are the admissions requirements for the diploma programs, such as police foundations, protection, securities, investigation, and community and justice services? If you're coming directly from high school, the admissions requirement is your grade 12 English with 3 of your best grade 11 or 12 courses. If you're coming from college or university, say you've attempted or you've already completed a credential, The admissions requirement is good academic standing plus English. If you're applying as a mature applicant, we will do admissions testing to determine admissions into the program. For our criminal justice degree program, the admissions requirement from high school is a little different. We're looking for grade 12 U-level English with a minimum final grade of 65% plus 5 grade 12 U or M-level courses. If you've already attended college or university and you're applying as a transfer student, we're looking for good academic standing plus an English course, either ENG4U or one that you've completed at university or college. For the forensic identification program, the admissions requirement is a degree or diploma. In the last 2 years, this program has become quite oversubscribed, and so preference is given to degree holders. Scholarships and bursaries. Humber offers a variety of internal and external scholarships and bursaries to our applicants. For more information, just go onto the Humber website and I'll put the link in there and take a look. Applications are currently open for them, so please go ahead and apply as soon as possible. Important days for you who've already received an offer of admissions. Congratulations. Don't forget, May 1st is around the corner. It is that confirmation deadline. So log on to Ontario Colleges and click confirm. That's it for me. Over to you, Jess.
You're muted, Jessica.
Sorry about that. I'm having bad luck this time around. So thank you everyone for joining, and thank you, Siobhan. To add one more important date to everybody's list, on Saturday, June 4th, Humber will be hosting an Experience Humber Day where the campus will be open and we'll be ready and excited to show you our campus and our labs and all of the great things that we have to offer. If anybody has any last words, I'm happy to share them now. And if not, there are no questions in our chat, so we can close the session. All right, great. Thank you everyone for joining us today. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to any of us that were on the panel here. I do see Joanna turned on her camera. Did you have something you want to say? Nope. Okay, great. Thank you everyone for joining us. And we hope to see you on our campus very soon.